ShireSociety.com. Well, look what Ridley found while he was out and about east of Manchester. A beautiful rural hiking area, complete with this. You may recall this is the same area, is Pawtuckaway State Park east of Manchester, where back in May 25th when I was in this area I couldn't even get to the trailhead at all because they had a guy standing guard blocking the road so people couldn't exercise. That was their way of making people healthier, or at least they couldn't exercise from the trailhead. I guess they let all that COVID power go to their head, and while they were here dicking around with you and me, they decided that they could just, add some new permanent restrictions. And there, as I've noticed, there's a bunch of new no parking signs that weren't here before. Can you imagine that? In America's least authoritarian state, you have to have a reservation to go F-bombing hiking. And these guys, well, I don't know if that's Department of Transportation or not. It looks like it's a state vehicle. They're here all the time, back and forth, this and that. I've never seen them actually change anything. It must be in an area that I don't attend, but they sure are racking up a lot of hours. What exactly is the point of having all those state vehicles doing all that road work for a place they won't let you go some of the time, and then you have to get a reservation to go there? In the future, that's how it's going to be, at least. One thing you just do not do to Americans if you want to make them healthier, you do not make it harder to exercise. Already at that site, they've made it so that, there's so many no parking signs pretty much everywhere that you cannot, if 6 cars wanted to park in the area at that trailhead, they wouldn't fit. And the 6th car would have nowhere to park and would have to drive miles back to nowhere. The hiking wouldn't happen unless you parked illegally. A trailhead that only lets 5 cars park. Well, remember when you saw me on this spot, if you were watching in spring of 2020, planting dandelions? Let's see how it looks. 6 months later, still no dandelions. Apparently, I'm going to die of starvation if I have to rely on my skills as a farmer. But as we enter this winter with its non-trivial chance of shortages and major violence, I do find I'm learning a lot about hunter-gatherer activities, like gathering these dandelions that grew by themselves. Drying them out was easy, and my neighbors here in Winchester, New Hampshire, our neighborhood, we've collected a huge list of edible plants in the neighborhood. And this is the granddaddy for its high quantity, the maple leaf, which I usually collect like this. The best thing about them, of course, is that they're so easy to recognize. I have not yet eaten a lot of I haven't yet eaten a lot of maple leaves, but I've dried a lot. They dry really fast and easy, and I've eaten a lot of dandelions, and those were easy to dry as well. So they should last through the winter. These are easy to recognize too. They're very distinctive, but less edible. Oak leaves, considered marginally edible. Ultimately, they carry a little too much tannin, Their acorns are considered edible as well, but the same problem, too much tannin. They're really more useful as treating mouth problems than for eating, both, especially the acorns. I have two theories as to why my dandelion planting was such a fail. One is that I tended to plant two seeds very close together just because it was hard to, I don't know why, I don't remember why I did that. And the other thing was that I may have planted them a little too deep. You're only supposed to plant them 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch deep. Maybe I just planted them deeper than I realized. I briefly tried hanging banana peels on spots like this. I was going to try to dry those out. Banana peels are edible, but who wants to eat them in normal times, right? What I discovered though is they draw too many flies, and I think it's better just probably to freeze the banana peels and deal with them later if the power ever does go out. You at least have some time to eat them. The other thing I'm trying to do to help get ready for the probable election troubles is to have a yard sale right before the election so that neighbors have one last chance to kind of get to know each other before maybe things get really crazy. We're going to do that in this spot.
If you love liberty, declare your independence by signing the Shire Society Declaration at shiresociety.com.